Unai Emery has done a brilliant job so far at Aston Villa since coming in, and they've made a late push for European football around the spell of Steven Gerrard. And even when Unai Emery first came in, he didn't actually hit the ground running in his first sort of 4 or 5 games, and then it just went from strength to strength. And you look at the infrastructure they got at the club. It's a big club, you know. I don't know myself. I don't think you quite call it a sleeping giant, but it's a big club, and they do have history, and they're also not short of money. So when we're looking at next season, and you know, myself as a Chelsea fan, I'm looking, right, okay, how do we get back into those European spaces? We've got to remember that now, you know, it used to be the top 4: Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool. Okay, we've got Tottenham there now. We've got Newcastle there now. Now I'm looking at Aston Villa also, and I'm thinking, oh God, Brighton, who else? You know what I mean? So Aston Villa, do you see him really pushing on next season?
I think Unai Emery has done a fabulous job. He has got a tune out of players that Steven Gerrard struggled with. I look at John McGinn, I've always liked as a footballer, but his performance levels faded under Gerrard. I look at Tyrone Mings. He seems to have got the best out of footballers. If you look at their fabulously wealthy owners, if you look, as you say, the support, the ground, the history, everything in their favour, you would suggest that they can probably get better, because they are going to spend in the summer. And if Emery has got the best out of players that Gerrard struggled with and done a wonderful job, then again I would argue that with the right investment that they can get better. So then you put them among those European clubs for next season, don't you? Which may be taking aside Manchester City, who seem to be on a level away from the rest of us. It makes it a really competitive Premier League.
I would have Liverpool at the end of this season probably finishing 5th. And then that 6th spot is so hard to predict between, you know, Spurs, Brighton and Aston Villa. They're the 3 in contention for it. If Aston Villa do manage to nick that 6th spot, depending on, you know, who drops out of the Champions League, you're going to look at that Europa League next season. And from a managerial aspect, there's not many managers that are going to be in that competition that are better equipped to win it than Unai Emery. Unai Emery knows how to win the Europa League. And that could be a gateway for Aston Villa to get back into the Champions League. How mad would that be? You know, under the you know, with the appointment of Steven Gerrard when he was coming in, a lot of people are touting as maybe this Aston Villa job's the stepping stone for Steven Gerrard to go on and finally take the reins of Liverpool as manager. Maybe it's a little bit poetic, like how us Chelsea fans looked at the Lampard managerial appointment and things like that, and it didn't work out in that way. But Unai Emery, if he can get Aston Villa into Europa League football, they're going to have a real chance there. They're going to have a real chance.
Did you not feel that after Arsenal, in a way, he came away from that a damaged man and maligned by many within our country? Went back to Spain, worked again, rebuilding a reputation. You always felt that a job would come his way, linked with a Newcastle job, takes the Villa job, and then what he has done in a relatively short period of time, November, I think he came in at Villa Park.
Yeah.
He has had more than a desired effect. So I think he has shown what a very good football manager he is. And I think you're absolutely right. He knows European football better than most, hasn't he? With the success that he's achieved in the past. So it's the perfect fit, isn't it? Unai Emery, Aston Villa, and a European adventure.
You also look at the form, to just bring it back from a player aspect, the form of Ollie Watkins as well.
I mentioned Watkins, and you're absolutely right to do that. I talked about improving players. I thought their performance level had dropped to Mings and McGinn, the captain. But Watkins, he has got the very best out of him, and a player that I think we all thought was a top footballer has gone on to show exactly what he's about. Yeah. And that has to be partly down to Emery and his management techniques.
Yeah.
He knows how to work on the player, how to improve the player, and suddenly all that potential, we saw a great footballer develop. And I think he is now. He was a good footballer, but to me, he's gone up a huge level, Ollie Watkins, and he will get better.
Yep.
He really will get better. I mean, how much do you know, if he keeps going to the end of the season, how he has been, what do you put him in the market at? What price?
Filling the quota for the English players in your squad, you're looking at a £50 million player, aren't you? If Ivan Toney's worth 50 million, you may be looking at Ollie Watkins. But I tell you what, although we're talking about the transfer value, I think for Ollie Watkins, just stay put. Stay put, stay there and crack on and keep doing what you're doing.
I think there's enough to keep him at Aston Villa. There's the carrot of European football. There's a manager that he clearly respects, and his football is improving. And one more season at Aston Villa, if he continues the upwards trajectory, then again, his transfer value rockets. And in the meantime, he may just win something with Aston Villa. So it is the right fit to stay there.
Not only that, he has another season next season with Aston Villa like he's had this year. Gareth Southgate needs to pick a few strikers for that Euro 2024 squad. You wouldn't bet against Ollie Watkins making that.
At all.
You know,
I think he's one of the most improved strikers in the country, and he's only going to get better.